Hi, Internet. Kim here.
Chris here, and this is Rambling Tea Time.
Hi, Internet. How's everyone doing?
Everyone's doing great on my side, which is me. I'm doing great. How about you,
Good,
Kim?
good. I'm doing well. Lots of people are coming off of a Halloween weekend.
Ah, yes, they are. They are. I do enjoy Halloween quite a bit.
I don't really. I
You don't?
mean, it's not like we don't really celebrate Halloween though.
Well, it's more of that where we're from, it was not really super like thing, I guess.
Yeah, there were
There were,
people who would have parties,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I want to say no one really did trick or
No,
treating
barely
or
anybody did that.
right. It wasn't a thing, I want to
It
say. It
wasn't a
wasn't
thing.
widely a thing.
No, I don't
It
know how.
was a thing. Some people did it,
Yeah,
some people didn't.
it's all about your neighborhood where you lived and whatnot. If people
Yeah.
celebrated it like that, but no, other than trick or treating or just like getting ready to go to parties and stuff like that, I like the Halloween season because I like fall in general.
Okay, so Halloween is not a season.
You are not wrong. It's treated as such, but the fall season, along with like Halloween and I guess maybe different versions of Thanksgiving or just the overall like normally harvest festival type of situations we
Right,
used to have
that's
to.
what we would do.
Yeah,
That's what
the
we would do. I remember doing
right
that.
that type of vibe of like the end of the year type of thing because it's nice and relaxed. I think that's why I really enjoy the season or the atmosphere around the season, even Halloween included, even if though it's not the most important thing to me. And speaking of Halloween, we watched a couple of horror
Horror?
movies
We both go like, horror? Question mark,
because
question mark.
some of them, okay, yes, horror, but horror stuff for me in a long time hasn't really been scary.
hmm
Maybe I prefer stuff that's far more unsettling. I don't really jump scares jump you. They don't really scare you. And gore horror is mostly the time funny, right? But we looked at four movies this time that you chose
I did.
and none we have never watched any of these. I
Right.
knew of a few of them and from like maybe a few reviews in the past, but I've
hmm
never watched any of these, neither have you. So how did you go about choosing these, Kim? Because
How did I go about
I
choosing them?
have opinions.
Well, when I begun, I was thinking maybe I wanted to do a couple like really bad ones.
Oh,
Like they were
okay.
rated badly, they were done
Schlock type of
badly,
thing. Okay.
and no one liked them, kind of thing. And then I also wanted to have half of them be really good, really great, ooh, wow, 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 amazing.
Oh, okay.
But that's not the route that I ended up going.
What route did you take?
Honestly, even to the end, I couldn't choose. I couldn't,
I
you
know
were there
you.
was like, we're gonna watch this and this and this. And I was
Hmm.
like, no, we're gonna watch this, this and this and this. And then I kept changing up because I had gotten like, I don't know, like 10 or 11 for us to watch, Christopher.
Oh God.
We only watched four, Christopher.
Only four
So, anyhow, there wasn't any real
criteria.
this time. No, it was just that, just two of them, I said to myself, I wanted us to watch.
Okay.
The first one is Baskin. That's one of the
Yes.
ones that I said, we're gonna watch this one.
Baskin. That's the Turkish movie.
Yes,
Yes.
Baskin is a Turkish movie, came out in 2015. It's not really about anything. Stuff happens.
Okay, that's being too vague. So this one guy. Let's focus in on the main character and spiral from him. He seems to be a new cop on the Turkish police force, and they're
Yes.
just there a night at some bar or something.
Right. A diner kind of
Yeah,
thing off duty.
yeah. One guy is having like issues and he isn't feeling well. He goes into the stuff
Bathroom.
room and back. He has it a freak out move or something movement. But we've been seeing this weird hooded figure that's been moving back and forth, carrying meat into the restaurant that they're at, all sort of stuff.
Right.
We don't know what's going on with them, and they appear in the back behind the guy in the stall. It just seems that he has a panic attack or something like that, but doesn't
Right.
recognize that the weird person's behind him because he's fine after that, right?
Right. I think we've
And
all actually been there
yes,
where we just have a moment, we just
yeah,
just
yeah,
freak out, freak out.
yeah. We just have to scream at the world for a bit.
Yeah.
And so the other cops with him go and see what's wrong. They sit with one of the cops sit with him, trying to like calm him down. And they get ready to. They get a call, and no, they get
Right.
ready to leave.
They
They
get
get ready to
ready to
leave. And they're
leave.
driving, and they get a call. They're listening to that song. What's the song? How does it go?
I don't
Anyways,
know.
it's really good, funny song. They're all just dancing and singing to this song, and they get a call to go to some place called
in
Integas
in Nash.
in
It has an
Nashka,
I, a G, an N, an A, a C, and an E, and
a
an
word that we can't properly pronounce.
right.
It begins with I.
Hmm.
And it's an area that apparently has shrines or something like that.
Right.
It doesn't isn't clearly explained. So it's like five of them, right? The boss, the
Yes.
guy who had a panic attack, the douche guy, the guy who doesn't talk much, and our youngest guy who's our main character.
Right. He's kind of the one who we see the story
Sorry,
through later on, I
yes. I
guess.
don't remember what his name was.
His name is mm, I remember the guy who actually had to freak out. His name is Seifi.
Safety, yes.
The reason why I remember his name because I watched another Turkish show where the guy had his name. Anyhow, carry on.
So they go to the place. They're talking about how it's weird and
Arda.
or Arda.
It's Arda.
That's the other person's name.
No, that's the newbie cop's name.
Ah, right, Arda. That's
Arda.
his name. Right, right, right. And on their way there, Sefi says he sees somebody's running in front of the car,
Right.
and they get out, and all of a sudden another person something hits the side of the car from the other side, and they're all like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Right. They're looking out into the woods on the other side
But
and
all
then
they're
something
seeing
hits.
is frogs.
Right. They see frogs on the ground and it's like, what? So frogs are the one who made all of these marks over the
I
car.
don't even. It's just so weird. So they continue to drive off, and they hit someone. They hit that person, and then they careen off to the side and land into like a stream.
Right.
Right. And in that moment, Arda is having a weird dream experience where he is talking to the boss, and the boss is like alluding that he's come to this place before, and the hooded figure we see in the back, we see again in the dream. He's like, "Do you see that?" That's what the boss is asking Arda. "Do you see that?" He's like, "I've seen it before." Boy, this movie is just taking so much memory to
You don't
remember.
have to say everything that
I
happens.
know, but it's
Just
just we do. People have to watch this
right.
movie
You have to watch it.
and be just as baffled as me as to why. But then at the end, I kind of got it, but at the same time, it's still annoying.
Okay, so get to the point. Stop with the whole
Okay,
summarizing
okay.
the
I'm
whole
sorry,
thing.
sorry, sorry. So we get to a point where they're walking now. They're going to the place. They After the accident, they find that there's some like vagrants or some homeless people living on the side. They talk to them about going to the place. They're all weird, and there's more frogs in a bucket. So I'm assuming they're gonna eat the frogs, but more frogs have shown up for some reason.
Hmm.
And then they go to the place. They find the place. It turns out the place used to be a police station way back in the day
Yes.
in the Ottoman Empire or something like that. It's not as abandoned, but that's where the call was. They see the police car out there and they're like, what's going on? There's a lot of confusion going on, and they're just like wandering around. They walk into the building, looking around, they found the guy. And they're like, the guy's like, not catatonic, but describe that state that he was in? Like he's just like standing there, but out of it.
I don't know. He was banging his head against the
Yes,
wall and he was zoned out.
he was zoned out for
Like
some reason.
he
For some
mentally
reason,
broke
yeah, like he
at
mentally broke.
something,
So
happened.
they decide for some reason to tell Safi, the guy who himself also had like a
Had a
mental
mental
break
break.
earlier, that hey, you take him back to the car alone. We're going to go and search the rest of this building, like a bunch
Yeah.
of Scooby Doo type shenanigans or something. So Seffi goes off with the guy, gets ambushed by some BDSM looking sex people because
Yeah.
they're naked and everything, and they grab him and they. Do
We
we even
never
see
see him.
him
No,
again?
we never see him
Right. We
again.
assume he's dead,
Yeah.
right? Get eaten or whatever,
Right.
or raped because Jesus, this movie.
Probably that's how it was though. Both probably
Probably
actually happened.
because everybody was screaming in the background and all
They
sort of weird
were.
stuff. Oh my god. I so we get to the point where all of our police officers get knocked out, captured, and at the or killed.
Hmm.
And then they meet this goblin-looking guy who's like, I guess, the head of this cult. And Arda keeps having dreams.
Right.
Right. Like, so Arda's been having dreams since the beginning. We saw at the beginning of the movie a kid was having a weird dream, and like he's being grabbed or something like that.
Right. The kid turns out to be
Arda,
Arda, and
uh-huh,
he was telling his boss about this dream that he kept having inside of one of his dreams,
exactly.
that he wakes up and hear his parents making a sound, and he goes and he hears them, then it stops, and then he goes to the TV and the
TV is
TV's
just
just on
static.
static, and then the TV cuts out. And
Uh-huh.
then when he looks around, he turns around and looks back to his room from the living room.
And sees,
There's a hand reaching out.
okay.
And then he's calling at his mother, help me, help me, help me. But the hand drags him in the room.
Yes. And he tells that to his boss in his dream, and the boss is like, we have to be careful because this is a crossroads for us. One of us will make it out or something like that. I don't know if this whole idea has some more like creepy Turkish story because we don't really get a whole bunch about who was that weird person in the
This is
dream
what I
state.
think. Let's just skip to opinions, okay? So there was this part where Arda was telling the boss inside of his dream that the reason that his parents chose his name, there's something about him being the chosen one
Oh,
in that. Let's move on with that. He was the chosen one
chosen one,
for
chosen.
whatever this cult thing is, right?
Yeah,
The guy kept
dream cult.
asking them, are you ready to unite with us and all kind of stuff, right?
He made that guy. He cut out one guy's eyeballs, and then he made them have sex with a lady. Then that lady got super pregnant and gave birth to a
A
stone.
rock. Yeah. Oh, then there was the scene stealer. The scene stealer was like the assistant of the head
That
guy with the
person,
straw.
this
He had
fucking
like the
straw.
straw here, and he kept like pulling it like to a side. You know how women flick their hair back? He
Yes,
kept doing that. And I was just like, this guy is the
and they
one.
keep cutting back to him or every
Yeah,
time he's
yeah.
like doing it.
He keeps like turning his head like this and turning
He
his
was
head
being
like.
weird. He was being weirder than people in the orgy and being weirder than the weird dude that
I
was
think
running
he
the
did a
cult.
great job.
He did.
He did.
He kind of
He
stole. He really did steal the
overperformed. He was
scene.
wonderful.
Every scene he was in, I'm looking at him. What nonsense he's doing in the background.
Yeah, me too. In any case, so Arda is the chosen one.
For some cult or
Right.
something like that.
And remember how the boss, who was like, I don't know, his family friend, because he
He
was the one who
raised
like
him
raised him,
after his
had
parents
kept
died.
saying that he promised his like uncle or something to raise him well or something like that. So I think that that guy, the reason why he was also in that mindscape area
Uh
with
huh.
Arda is because he knew that
Yeah,
this guy would come for
because he
him.
said he's always sensed it when he
Right.
for
He
like
knew that
forever.
he would come for him and he was
Mm.
trying to protect him. So he knew about all of this.
it was the movie was weird
It was.
because then he finds a key. His no, in
The
his
boss
boss
says
dies,
he
gets
dies, right?
killed,
He gets killed by the other
and
guy.
then in the dream space, he talks to the boss and he gets a key from where the boss got slit in his neck. He pulls out a key, and then he takes that key and shoves it into
The
the
keyhole in
keyhole
the bad
that's in the bad
guy's
guy's head in the dream.
forehead. Yes, in
In
the
the dream,
dream.
and then he's tied to a pillar, by the way, so he couldn't move or anything.
That's the part that really got me.
Then the key appears within the keyhole of the guy actually in real life, but is it
Right.
real life? Question marks. And then all of a sudden, the chains that were tying him down up to
They
the
just
pillar, they
release.
just release.
That's the part. That's
This
the part
movie,
right there. That wasn't accurate for me. Everything else was like stupid and stuff, and I was like, all
but it
whatever, who
still was
cares? But that right
consistent.
there
It was
was
still
like,
consistent to the weirdness in the movie, but then all of a
mm,
sudden, I guess it's supposed to represent that breaking of the keys couldn't hold him back anymore, so his chains were undone as well. And
okay.
then where did the straw hair guy go? Because he just disappeared too. He was right there all along. Then Arda released the
He
key
took the
power.
baby upstairs, didn't he?
Oh my god,
I mean, the
fucking
rock
stone baby.
stone baby or.
Nothing, listener, viewer, as you can tell, from this rambling explanation, the movie was strange, and I think I understand why it was. It's supposed to represent the confusion you have when you're dreaming. That's what the whole thing is about. You're try to figure out, okay, there's a dream, there's a what is happening in the dream also affects what's happening in reality, but is this reality or
Right,
is
so
this a
this is
dream?
what I'm trying to say.
Wait, and the ending. Let's talk about the ending. Hold what you're thinking about.
Okay.
So Arda gets away.
Right.
He defeats the big evil. He smashes his head in. He gets up and he runs out of the place. And
Right.
he starts running away from the building and whatnot. And he's running down the road for whatever reason in the middle of the road, and a vehicle is
He
driving
tries to
forward.
like wave
He
them
tries to
down
hit wave
though.
them down, and he gets hit. Turns out that was the
The
car that was them hitting him and then driving into the ditch from before.
right in the
So now it's
past.
like, is
Time
this
loop.
is a time loop not as introduced, or is this a dream, or what? I'm just, and that's how the movie ends. I'm just like, everything made sense up to a certain point, and then it just stopped. Which I'm guessing is because dreams are normally weird. What you wanted to say?
So I'm going from the point of view that it's not a dream.
Okay,
I
and it's all
think
reality. Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Part of the fight
It's
takes
dream. Yes,
place
yes,
in
yes.
his head.
Definitely.
There's no dream. It's just in his head.
Okay.
Do you see where the bad guy goes up to them and holds his head against their
Yes,
forehead
yes.
as well? He's trying to do something to them mentally in their mind space so that they can conform to whatever it is that he wants. That's
Right.
what I think. I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Right.
And Arda was able to defeat him in that space, as we
Yes.
saw.
With the key from the neck of the guy in the mind space.
Right, the boss. At the end, I don't know about at the end either. They did introduce a time loop that
It either
was
means that it's a time loop or it's a dream again, and that
right, that he
Arda's
hasn't
still
actually
dreaming.
woken
He's
up
not
and he
woken
could
up.
still be trapped, or he
Yes,
could have lost his fight actually.
it's a dream.
It's something.
It was. It was entertaining. The movie was entertaining. I liked the all the actors, all the guys and their conversation, how they're speaking and stuff like that. It was interesting, weird but interesting, and overall fine, I guess. But I do wish it wasn't so bloody confusing coming up to the climax, you know. But I guess that's also with the theme of it. Dreams are confusing. You can't always tell. When you wake up, you barely remember a dream. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Let's move on to our next movie.
Yes, our next movie was Hereditary.
Yes, I had heard about this movie for a long time. Even when it was all over when it came out. People were like, "Oh, it's good. It's a good movie."
I had never heard of
Never
it.
heard of it. I've seen a new about it and I watched like parts of reviews of it. So I kind of remember stuff when I watched the movie, but I didn't really
Hmm.
get it. I like this movie. I think it's probably the one movie that I liked out of the ones that we watch.
The most? Yeah,
Yes.
I think it was good. It was worth that.
It still kind of ended. It had its own strange thing towards the end, in my opinion. But overall, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was it was good horror. It wasn't trying. It was spooky, but it wasn't trying to jump scare you in a
Right.
way. It was just trying to unsettle you, and you slowly seeing everybody like descend into their own form of madness.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
So did I. I'm just gonna go straight and talk about
Cool.
my favorite point.
Yes.
My favorite part was when the whatever the thing was inhabiting and controlling the mother,
Oh,
and she was just in the son's room. She was in Peter's room,
we had
and she was
a
just like in the corner of the roof, like held up there. We had to go back
because I
because
did
I
it. We did it. I thought I saw the part where she flies across.
floats across the
Right, I
room.
thought that was like the door, and I had to like look properly, and then I
Yeah, and I was
realized.
like, didn't you see her just fly
And then you
across
went
there?
back, and we both saw her up in the corner.
And
We
that
started
was
to freak
that was
out.
another form of creep because you know when you watch shows and you miss something like
Yes,
that, it's
yeah.
like that did not exist 2 seconds ago. I swear I did not
So I
see
added to
her.
that, yeah, added the second half in the movie where kind of all the weird stuff starts to like come, kind of I guess snowball out of
Yeah,
control. Really was pretty interesting.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
Uh how do we begin to explain this, or do we
We
just
don't have to. That's not
yeah
what we do.
yeah?
We
It's
just
not
give
the.
our opinion.
I think people should watch this. It's
I
if
think
you're
so
looking for
too.
a good, fun little horror movie around this time of year, very good, very
Especially
good.
that part where she's just up there. Oh my gosh.
The whole twist at the end with the whole why all of this stuff started to happen is because the way I want to play out is like maybe the mom is mentally insane. Maybe everybody
Right.
is slowly going mad because of daughter's death. You know, maybe because of all this built up stress because the grandmother died. Maybe it's
Right,
just
right, right.
affecting. That's why the father is supposed to be like the one who he's like worried and he's dealing with how all this terrible stuff is just tearing apart his
Right. And
family.
he's seeing it and he's like, okay, so everyone is just really going crazy.
Yeah, the son himself also was involved in the accident that led to the daughter's death. He is having his own struggle and whatnot. It, at the end of the day, grandma fucked everybody over.
She did. Wow, she did
for
for real.
for somebody that was dead at the beginning of the movie, I pretty much set all of this up with that Joan lady. Pretty much fucked that entire family over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow. That's all I'm going to say about this movie. I think people should go and watch this.
I think so too. I
It's
did not. I maybe I shouldn't have revealed my favorite part, but I think that people should watch it because it's really good.
it was fun. I liked it. I really liked
It could seem slow in the beginning,
it's not too slow. It's not too
but the
slow for too long.
story is setting up the whole. Oh,
To,
you think they're crazy,
yeah, but then you start to see that some of the stuff might actually be real, and then you're like,
right?
oh, it is real,
Right.
and then it's like, oh, why are there naked people everywhere?
That I wanted to
That's
know.
the
What is
second movie
wrong
in a
with
row
that?
where there were naked
I
cult
am
people.
so apologetic. I didn't know that people were just gonna be flashing us all day.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm. But I quite enjoyed this. It was good.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
really
great. It
good.
was great.
Before we continue, it's time for the tea of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the tea of the day I thought would be really fitting for this episode. It's a horrifying episode, so I chose a horrifying tea.
Oh boy.
I chose Tadden Boulder tea.
Okay.
All right, I'm just gonna be really brief. I didn't choose it because we liked it.
No.
I think that like these movies as well, you have to experience
Experience.
it to get where we're coming from. I'm sure there's some people who will like it, but it is super acquired. All right, Tadin Boldo or just any Boldo tea, I'm
Yes.
sure that is it's not just specific to the brand. It probably tastes just as bad from anybody. So, give it a taste. Let us know if you
Enjoyed it.
are something.
Experience.
Now, the next movie that we watched was a horror comedy.
Eh, yeah.
Less on the comedy when we actually watched it. It was Ready or Not.
Yes. Ready or not.
It's basically about,
More magic. Kinda.
well, so there's this family, and
Mm-hmm.
every time someone marries into the family, they have to play a game. And they play that game and everything
You have to
goes
choose a game.
well. Right, you
Oh,
have to
choose a
choose the
game
game, you
and then they
play
play
the
the game. Yeah.
game. Usually it turns out fine, but if you get the one specific game called hide and seek, which we all think is flowers and butterflies, then you're wrong because it's actually a hunting game, a deadly hunting game,
Yes.
where the family will then hunt
The
the
bride or
person
groom.
who's marrying in to the
Yes.
family. So that's what ended up happening to our main character. And yeah,
This movie, I want to talk about the comedy bit. I would have preferred if they played it even straighter. The parts where it was pretty serious and stuff, it's okay. It
yeah, it
was
was
overall
okay.
okay. The weird comedy bits, I guess, worked fine, but overall, they were unnecessary in my opinion.
This is what I think. They should not specify, like in the tags, that it's a comedy at
Because it
all.
isn't
Not that it
really.
isn't a comedy at
There's
all.
comedic
It's just
bits that don't all
less.
land.
It's not as much comedy as I thought it would be.
Yes, it really wasn't very comedic at all.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
our main character, what was her name?
I don't know.
Jeez. The bride, I'll just call her the bride.
I'll remember it. Just give me a moment. Talk.
She is being hunted now. And the groom, he's unreal.
Grace.
Grace. And what's his name?
Who?
Alan? Alex?
Alex.
Alan?
Alex.
Alex? What's the name?
Yeah.
So the groom name's Alex. He's the son of this family, and he's very reluctant to play this game or whatever. He seems to like this girl.
Right.
And so he tries to help her at the beginning of the movie, but he fails to do so and get captured by his family and spends most of the movie tied up and handcuffed.
He
So
did.
let's just table him for a bit, like the movie did. Our main character or hero protagonist, Grace, has to then figure out and fight through and try to survive this hellish night where everybody in the house wants to kill her. And it was fun. Grace went through a lot of bullshit though.
She did.
Like it's just like fuck them. For real. That
Yeah.
whole family is just so friggin'
You know what was the
much.
really like fuck them moment for me? It's when
Uh-huh.
the boy, the
The
like
little kid, yeah.
the kid,
Mm-hmm.
Christopher shot her.
Uh-huh. He's like, oh,
Wow.
everybody's doing it, and she punched her. She fell down the back of the
She fell
goat
in the
hole,
part where they throw
the
the
bodies and the
corpses.
carcasses and all that stuff of the people that they killed.
Yes,
All the wait staff died.
they did.
All of them died, and I think the comedic bits are within the family because they seem to be fairly disorganized and they don't know how to do like actual murder properly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Grace's kills are because people just are incompetent at getting her killed.
Basically.
She survives due to like just sheer luck and the incompetence of others. And the luck and the niceness of the one person who was good to her in the entire place was the brother Daniel,
Right,
because
Daniel.
he apparently sick of all this nonsense going on with his family and probably wants to kill them himself. And he saves her by poisoning them super at the end when they're about to kill her again because she got captured again. Overall, the movie was fine. I just think they could have played it even. They could have just like they could have left out the little stupid comedy bits and probably make it a little bit more serious and scary. I think everybody did a good job. I think it was acted nicely. I think it was pretty okay, pretty fun, simple movie concept, right? Because we've
Right.
seen this type of thing. You easily get a good set of actors, a simple script, and you just run with it. It was just worked well, and it was entertaining.
It was.
I liked it. I liked most of the kill shots and stuff like that. The bits where they're fighting and kill people. A few of the I guess some a few of the comedy bits landed, especially with that crazy their daughter who accidentally killed all those the
What is her name?
maids. Carla?
Elisa or
I don't
something?
remember the name.
Neither. Anyway, the drug addict daughter.
Yes. And then at the end, they think that they have to kill her by dawn, or not they'll all die because there's a curse on the family in that they get prosperity if they play a game when somebody enters the family, but if they don't play the game, they'll all die by dawn. So she finally escapes. She grabs a knife, and before they could kill her, they realize the sun is rising and dawn has come, and they all
Oh,
like
you
clench
forgot to
this up.
mention
What?
that her groom, her
Oh
husband,
right,
had
had
turned
turned on
on
her.
her.
Yes, he did.
Like, that was the part for me as well.
I knew that was gonna
That
happen.
was the next killer part. When she was shot by the young boy, I was like, humanity is just so horrible. And then when her just
Supposed
husband,
new
oh,
husband.
when he turned on her, that just hurt my
I
heart
knew
as
that's gonna
well.
happen. They wouldn't going to there wasn't going to be a happy ending for them at all. Period. So him turning on her kind of makes
I
no
wasn't
sense.
saying there would be a happy ending because, when we were watching it, we were all like, man, I can have a divorce when we done. Even if we
After all,
survive,
I would have
I don't
killed
want
all of them.
nothing to do with you.
I would have killed him too.
Goodness. I wouldn't have killed him, but I don't want to have nothing to do with him.
Like, but the fact that she survives and they're all bracing for the sun, and then for a moment they're like, "So it's all bullshit,"
Right? Because nothing happened.
and then the grandmother exploded.
Hmm.
Comically so. And then they all start exploding one by one by one.
This is what happened. The grandmother has still wanted to kill
Right,
her,
right, right.
even though it was dawn already.
But then she
Then
exploded.
she exploded.
Yes. Then everybody else in the family exploded. Everybody else that was still alive, because at this point, Daniel was shot by his wife protecting Grace.
Right.
Grace killed her. Grace also killed the mother.
Grace killed who? Grace didn't kill her.
Yeah. No? He didn't knock her out. And not her. He hit her. She hit her with the gun.
Right, she just hit her with a gun.
Oh, she
She
was still
was
alive.
she was only knocked out. She got
Oh yeah, yeah.
exploded
Right, right,
later.
right. You're correct. You're correct. So she killed the mother. She smashed the mother's head in.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when the groom turned on her.
Yes. So they started to explode, and then the groom is like, "Come on, baby, you just love me, right? Yeah, I don't want to die. I don't want to die." And then he explodes, and that's how the movie ends. The mansion is on fire due to a whole bunch of other things that happened before,
And
and
she
she just
catches a glimpse
of
of
the ghost
the
dude. Apparently,
ghost dude who
yes,
did all of this. It's
he
like,
nods
why do
at
you
her.
even set up all of
This is
this?
so
You're
much
He's like
bullshit.
smiling and like, what does this even mean?
And the
You
movie
wanted your
ends.
whole family to die?
Who knows, man? People are crazy.
For real.
The movie was it didn't it was short enough. It was clear. It didn't irritate me with dream mind battles.
Wow. Carry on.
But it was fine. I enjoyed it for what it was. Simple, silly script idea that somebody had, and then they're like, "Oh, sure, we can make this into something in like an afternoon or a night," and they made it into a movie.
Yeah. I still would like to know why the great uncle or whatever he was did that.
For prosperity and wealth.
Okay, but then he nods at her while smiling at the end.
I don't know what crazy ghost people are thinking, Kim. I really don't.
Okay, moving on to the last movie. We watched Us.
Yes. How do you feel about Us, Kim? Truly.
Um.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. That's
why though?
the why is the question.
Everything that happened is all great. It's the same like with Ready or Not. Why though?
Bask into
Why did why did they want to
control the shadow people.
right, why though? Okay, no, because the government had been suppressing them under, is that why?
I suppose so.
Okay.
The movie,
This motive, it felt like motive wasn't strong enough. I feel like there needed to be something more there for me to feel anything for the shadow people. I did not feel anything really.
you know what this movie would have been better as? Instead of trying to frame it as like a horror, it should have been framed as a sci-fi horror type thing.
It
And it should
probably
have
was, Christopher. It probably says sci-fi beside it as a tag
I meant more okay, that
from
the
that.
science fiction should have been probably a little bit more prominent and probably been more of the focus. It should have been more of an
Like the
invasion type
fat,
thing.
not the fat, like how they are made, perhaps.
Yes. Having apparently shadows just exist as
Really.
part of if you're born you have a shadow. That's what I understand. I
Mm.
really hated that shadow mom talked in a really gravelly voice. I get apparently because they can't speak or whatever, and they're just shadows, so they're just copying what people are doing. But I really hated how most of the exposition was through that.
That part,
It
well,
was
not that.
not fun.
The part that was that I thought I really didn't like is when they first encountered them and the shadow family sits down inside their living room facing them,
Uh,
and then she starts her whole
Once
story.
upon a time literally
Right,
starts off
right.
like that.
I did not like that part
Yeah,
because I would have preferred if they had shown us
instead of
instead of
just
just
tell.
her telling us that this stuff happened. It's like, okay, great.
The movie could have done with yeah, definitely more showing than just telling.
Yeah.
You know, like overall, I like the idea. The idea is fine. I still don't know why they're trying to do Hands Across America. Maybe I guess it was like a point she was trying to like we're going to show them that we exist or something like that,
I have
so they
another
can't
question.
ignore us.
So all of the shadows uprose across America then?
Where else are these shadows kept? Are they all connected underground? Is this how did the government just lose control of the equivalent shadows for the entire continental United States? That's
Right.
600 million shadows of people. How do you lose control of that? Why is it easy to get into the shadow
Right.
place from the
Some
pier?
right, some what do you
Mirror
call that
play,
thing?
just
Mirror
fun mirror
thingy
place.
thingy. I don't even know what
Like
to call it.
it, it shows too much and gives you no explanation for it, and then it shows too little for you to get like
Right. The
really into
times
it.
where it should show, it doesn't. It tells. But those are the times where we really need to see things.
I mean, and the twist at the end, everybody could have called from the very
Everybody
beginning.
knew from the beginning that
Yeah,
she was the shadow
it's
girl.
kind of obvious from the get go.
Yeah.
Like, I liked this movie. I didn't like it a lot, and some of the bits of the writing felt a little weird
Yeah.
too as well. Like these people aren't super worried about Like the dad's
The
writing is
dad
really.
is he was the like she's trying to say we need to go on the road, we need to get out of here right now, we need to go to Mexico or somewhere, we need to get out of this place. And he's all like, we have all we need right here. It's like, you
You realize that
serious?
your
You just
friend's dead.
watched the news, them talking about how all of these people just out here killing all these people, and you think that we're safe?
I it feels that okay. I get the shadows came at night and they spooked up on everyone somehow because they are everywhere somehow. But the fact that they just have scissors for like weapons and
You want
how
to know why they have scissors
I
as
don't I
weapons?
don't know how they're overpowering like other places with guns because it's America. I feel like like it's a stereotype, but at the same time, guns are not hard to find.
It's true.
So why aren't there guns underground if they've been planning this for years? Why scissors
That's also my question, right? So she had been planning it since she was 14.
or kid? No, from what we find out at the end, from the time she was a kid, I get about 14. Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
Right,
so
shadow. Yeah,
things could have happened in her memory
yeah.
where, as a kid you whatever, 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 whatever. All right?
Mm-hmm.
But from 14 is when she said that the other shadows had like chosen her to like go forward and lead a revolution or something.
The shadow revolution.
But I think I would have liked to see like the planning
I think honestly, I
of
would
that.
take this idea and put it into a different movie altogether
Uh-huh.
where you see that shadows are showing up all over the place and then you see from the government point of view that something weird is going on and then you find out that there are shadow people embedded already all over the place and they're trying to take over slowly and slowly and like they take over some places or something like that and it's just like instantly like a whole huge states or parts of America or even the central government is like taken over by
Mm-hmm.
like these shadow copies of them. Because then I would be more invested, I guess, or felt more like scared or maybe like interest or something. But it was just so flat for
Right.
me, you know. It just, they're crazy kind of their shadows seem to have learning or they're just weird or they just can't speak or they're just speaking gargled so they're like trying to learn how to be human now since they're above and apparently you can control them by doing the opposite of them what we saw with the sun at the end
Right.
so is because they're your shadow. So they're going to mimic everything you do, as we saw down below, that they mimic everything that everybody does above. So are they still under control of us? Or do they have their own control? Because I don't know why that happened to the sun
I don't
copy
know.
shadow.
Anyhow, that scene I actually liked, now that you bring it up, when they were showing the, what do you call it? That's a great word, juxtaposition or something,
Yes, yes, sure. That's
of
probably
her and the other her
yes.
going through where they were that one night. I really liked that scene. How the people were the same and
Mm-hmm.
doing the same
But
thing.
stranger and just in like a hallway.
Yeah.
It was. I don't know.
In the end, there's lots of
There's
questions.
way more questions, but I don't really care if I find out the answers. You know, it honestly, like my biggest issue with it is that there's a lot of interesting ideas here. It just that feels that they would do better if it was more focused and if there was much more streamlined, I guess. But
Hmm.
because it focuses so much on like one family for a bit and I don't know. It movie's fine, but after a bit, I just got tired of it. Like especially towards the end, I just wanted to end with the whole prolonged fight that she had with her other self.
Okay.
I was just like, what the fuck am I even watching right now? What's going on? Why is there dancing both in the hallway?
Yeah, that part kind of threw me as well.
And then she gets killed in the stupidest way possible by pulling out her scissors and jump. You think, right, that the shadows who've been mimicking people for the entire existence would try to get weapons that really truly would end
I
them.
think that's the part that probably doesn't make sense. So we are to believe that the government knew about them and was keeping them down
And
there.
just didn't
But how did all
come.
of them escape?
Yes.
Whoever, the government would have this thing really locked down.
It's literally a copy of every person in the United States so they can
Right.
use to control them,
It's
apparently.
strange, right?
Yes.
Moving on.
That's why it's like, is somebody in who used to in control or is in control of this program or whatever, are they a copy now? Are they the ones? It just interesting idea, bungled execution. The actors did pretty alright in my opinion, and I liked some of the movie. I liked the chanting that started the movie.
Oh, right, you did.
That's the part that was my favorite part.
Overall, three of the movies were
In one day.
left us wondering
Yeah.
what and why. And then there was the one, which was everything was all good.
Hereditary?
Yeah.
Hereditary still ended weird with the
But we
"Hail
understood.
Paimon!" We
Okay, but
understood
we
though.
understood. All our questions were answered, though.
Yes. Yes.
Everything was rounded off.
Yes, we understood mostly what was going on.
Right. All the other movies that we
It's
watched, it was
Grandma's
like,
fault.
even Ready or Not. Like I said, I still
That
want to
kinda
know what's
makes
wrong with
sense.
that ghost guy.
Who knows?
He's all
dude?
like, smile. This part can always make me annoyed. He smiles at her and nods. Like he wanted his family to die out.
I mean, they're no longer cursed, so you don't have to hurt innocent people.
He's
at
the one who put
expense.
the curse on his family, though.
Yeah, but maybe he has regrets as a ghost person. I don't know, Kim.
Or I guess it was the box, if we think about it. The box that he found put the
Yes.
curse on the family and they had to do the game thing. So maybe it wasn't his fault exactly. He was thanking her that his family didn't have to suffer anymore.
They didn't really suffer. They kind of inflicted suffering.
Yeah, they were horrible.
They were all horrible.
Anyway, so how do you like movie night this time?
It was entertaining. I will say that some of the movies were a varying amount of interest and quality and whatnot, but overall they were all interesting. They all had something that was fun to watch. I liked the idea in Us. I liked how the Turkish movie Baskin looked. I liked how it felt. I like Hereditary overall because it was really good and entertaining and overall. And Ready or Not was simple but fun. So yeah, you did a good job of choosing these movies.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
We have to watch the rest at some point.
Okay.
Did I tell you I have 11 or 12?
Yes, you did. So you have to watch the rest.
Okay, great.
Oh, you could do another one of these, a follow up to this one.
Okay.
Yeah, movie night part Halloween part 2.
Something, because I'm not just gonna watch those alone. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I'm not afraid or anything. It's
But
just
not
horror
alone.
movies are meant to be shared.
I think the one thing that's gonna make me think a bit is definitely the whole somebody's watching you up in the corner of your room. That shit is just not right. That was uncomfortable on us.
Listen,
For real. When we scroll back, I just
cannot
felt, oh
believe
god.
it. That's why that part, that's the most creepy. Everyone has to see it. And make sure that you're in a well-lit room. Even though the movie at different times, it's horror, so they get dark at times.
Yeah.
But I did not see her the first time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have seen her if you hadn't had seen her the
Second.
next scene, in the next frame.
Yeah.
So we went back and I was all like, oh my God, Chris, Do you see her up there?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, wow. I was well freaked out at that moment because she was not there.
She was though.
Wow, that was so creepy.
I kind of like, I like the silence in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the issues some horror stuff have is like they try to like get you ready with the stop, then that type of thing, and it's
Yeah.
annoying. It's like creating an experience of being on a roller coaster ride in that you go up and then down after you get there, and then go up and then down. That type of situation where it's like it becomes anticipated,
Right.
and so you get in the rhythm where it's like you just wait, you wait for the music cues. They go silent. They go silent. You either get a jump, you get a thing, or you get something that just shows you, but you were ready for it, right?
Right.
But when it's just silence and the scene plays and the actual scare or whatever is there, but it's actually good and it's not up in your face, it's more effective, I find.
I expect one of them that I chose this time, but we didn't watch,
Ah,
A Quiet Place,
ah,
to be
that's kind
like
of the
that.
second movie,
But
right?
I think so. It has a two.
Oh, right, it does have two. Yeah,
So we should watch that as well.
we should watch both.
Yeah. Actually, we can do a whole thing. Even though it's a quiet place, though, is it quiet? Like we're talking about without
I think the whole
background
premise of that
music.
movie is that you have to stay quiet because
Right, but we are talking about no
oh, you're
background
talking about
music
the actual.
either.
Who knows? I don't know.
Okay, well, next time.
Next time.
Yes, everyone. I hope your Halloween was not freaky and that if you're not afraid of horror stuff or creepy stuff or gory stuff, maybe you can give these movies a try. Don't blame us if you get nightmares. Blame the people who made the movies. And yeah, that's it from us.
Have a good night, everyone.